Hello all, welcome to the Lunar Ceasefire Cartoon Fan Podcast. This is episode 294, and today we'll be talking about the trailer for Season 5 of She-Ra. I'm GC13.
And I'm David.
So, what a time for me to get into the series, am I right?
It just, you coming in at the last moment reminds me of all the people during Steven Universe Future, no less, talking about how they were, excited to be along the journey for the end, and they had, just caught up on the series. And it's like, man, so much has happened. But at least with She-Ra, the series has only been out for, technically a year and a half, so I don't blame people for only just now learning about it. It's crazy that it's going to be over and that there's just this whole thing. It was really like a binge session of an entire era of television. This is as many episodes, I think, as what Avatar gave us. Because Avatar was 60 episodes of 22 minutes in length. This is whatever 13 times 4 is.
Yeah.
I can do that math in my head.
It's 52.
Or on a computer. 52 episodes. Longer than The Legend of Korra, slightly shorter than The Last Airbender, but both of those shows aired over the course of 4 to 5 years.
So I guess to start us off with a minor observation, a very minor observation from the trailer, I do like how they have Glimmer in the same kind of cell. Obviously it's the same technological base they're using as Shadow Weaver was kept in, but she's getting much nicer food this time around.
Both Catra and Glimmer have very interesting roles to play in this season. Obviously, Glimmer is not going, even from the finale of season 4, is not going to be treated she's going to be treated in a weird way by Horde Prime, where he's going to be like, I am treating you nice because you're royalty, but also I'm going to destroy your planet and steal your magic. So, he's just being his courteous but evil self. And, I don't know what agency Glimmer is going to be able to have from inside the ship, though. That's really where her and Catra's friendship's going to have to build, but we don't see any Catra-Glimmer interaction in this trailer. I'm interested to know if that is the direction they go or not, because they're the only two Etherians, hanging out on the ship.
I do wonder when Glimmer is having her little smack talk session with Horde Prime, if that's earlier on in the season and then she's in jail for most of the time, or if he keeps bringing her out to talk to her and she keeps having that little antagonistic fire of hers.
So I guess the lore is going to be that because they're in space, that limits Glimmer's magic powers and prevents her from coming out of jail. I guess that's just how it has to be.
She is awfully far away from her runestone. Although they are in orbit, so they're not further out into the solar system or elsewhere. They're close enough for Catra to watch the fires of war burn.
And man, is it burning, and man, does she look actually affected. And I think Catra, the big moments that she has in this trailer between her close up on her face witnessing the fires and then her hand actually reaching out for help from Adora, I think it's pretty much confirmed just from this that there is some kind of redemption in store for Catra. She's maybe going to realize that what she was doing wasn't cool and that she's a bad friend. But I don't know. Again, as long as they're trapped on the ship, there's only so much they can do. It does look like Catra's kind of playing the let me be your guide to this planet role to Horde Prime, but Horde Prime seemingly is going to leave them behind on the ship at some point and do his own thing on the surface. And I'm assuming they don't get to come with him.
Yeah, I don't see why he would, logically speaking anyway, bring them.
Right, and he does seem mostly logical, except for his downfall is going to be his illogical, irrational hatred of the She-Ra, who has apparently been his enemy for way longer than we've known about, and I don't know how much that connects to the original lore of the 80s cartoon, but I didn't personally see that coming at all. I guess I should have.
we kind of did, actually. For anyone who isn't aware, a week ago, we recorded our audio for our look back at Season 4, and I did bring up what are the odds that Horde Prime is the enemy that the Eternians, the first ones, wanted to use the Heart of Etheria on, and we decided that the odds were basically 100%. So it would make perfect sense that She-Ra was always Horde Prime's enemy.
Right, like we had the idea that somehow the first ones and the Horde were going to collide, but the fact that he has a personal vendetta against the She-Ra, and then that's possibly been... just even the fact that 1,000 years ago, Horde Prime was a problem, right? So that definitely gives us a sense of the scale of what Horde Prime's been doing, which is that or maybe it only happened as recently as 1,000 years ago. I mean, it may not be many hundreds or thousands of years also even before that he continually was thwarted by She-Ra.
I mean, universal domination is slow work, but I don't understand how we can not know what Etheria is if Etheria's guardian is his enemy, someone he's known for a long time. I'm going to be very interested to see them reconcile that. Or maybe he does know about Etheria, and he's just letting Catra feel like she's guiding him in his conquest of the planet.
Yeah, he said he had never seen power signals like he'd seen on Etheria before. So it seems like he wasn't familiar with Etheria until this point.
Well, remember, Etheria has been accumulating energy for 1,000 years at this point. So that thing's juiced much stronger than it would have been back in Mara's time.
So maybe that's true. Maybe he'll re-recognize that it's Etheria. But maybe the She-Ra isn't just an Etherian concept. I don't know. We are obviously going to get big answers on that because we see a pretty important but really mysterious scene in this trailer where Adora is on maybe the first one's planet, and there's a giant portal, and there's a ghostly or angelic She-Ra spirit guide as well.
Why do we think that that's a first one's planet? I just thought that was a remote location on Etheria.
It reminded me a lot of the flashbacks we've seen where Adora gets abandoned. But it could be on Etheria. But also it's a giant portal, so she either just came out of it or just came through it.
I just want to circle back to Catra watching the explosions from orbit, and most of those explosions look like they're out to sea, so there's apparently a lot of naval action happening, but it does look like that's happening on the north of the planet, and so I weep for our Lieutenant Worfs of the Kingdom of Snows, getting taken out by the bad guy so we can show how big a deal he is.
It's super sad. I don't know about the it's a weird scenario when shows do this, which is that the big bad comes in and they have overwhelmingly better technology, but then the actual warfare they conduct seems still smaller somehow, right? Like same problem in Steven Universe. Diamonds, they could do literally, anything they wanted at any time, and, but then they didn't, and it was fine for Steven. Here, it seems like Horde Prime he even does snap his fingers like Thanos in this trailer, and I just feel like if he wanted to, he could just, immediately kill everyone on the planet and then, dig a hole to the center of it and, take out the magic. But I guess he has some other plan in mind?
Yeah, like, literally just deploy more troops, sir.
I also have a feeling we're going to get a lot of Samurai Jack-esque robot murdering in this season because his cronies are all, or his soldiers are all robotic, and I was thinking, yeah, okay, he doesn't have his clones out there, he has robots so that we can, maim them and kill them, and it's fine. And it's not a moral question for our heroes.
Well, remember, they already did that with the Horde. It would not surprise me if that's why they had Entrapta go over to the Horde, so they could have big, scary robots for, the heroes to cut apart all the time. Because it's like, you notice that the heroes are always super strong, but they only ever beat up the Horde soldiers. The Horde soldiers are always limping back home, saying, "Ow, mommy, I got a boo-boo," fighting the She-Ra.
I do like that the show by default and through reinforcement from the words of Bo and Adora has from the start said it was never a question for our heroes that they were obviously not going to kill people, right? Like their goal was just to stop or thwart the plans of the Horde, but not to, murder them in cold blood, which other shows, again,
it's pretty
thinking about
hot
Avatar,
blood when you're fighting a battle.
Right, like, this was like the core question for like Aang, though, in Avatar. Like, should I kill the Fire Lord? And also, like, when we fight other people, do they die sometimes? but there's, I'm glad that the Bright Moon army and the armies of all the princesses are aligned on not killing people. But I think now we're going to get a different feeling in this season because they're like humanoid robots. I'm really expecting a Samurai Jack type. Something gets ripped in half. There's wires everywhere.
That'll be cool.
Just something to make it look more intense, right? Like, man, this threat is more serious. And, will they actually end up fighting more Hordaks, though? Also, that just made me think, complete lack of Hordak in this trailer. What do you think of that?
No. I do think we see Hordak there's the scene where that wave is going over, and you see the heroes sitting in a circle, and a bunch of the Horde Prime clones, around them, about to get swept up by the wave. There is someone lying on Swiftwind, and if you kind of look at the image and squint, or if you enhance it a little bit, it looks like it's one of the Horde Prime clones. So, what are the odds that isn't Hordak?
So he somehow breaks his learning, as Sophia also predicts in the yet unreleased Season 4 discussion that we have. Yeah, that could be the case. There's also a mysterious character that looks like another princess that we see in this trailer, too, that someone pointed out on Twitter that I didn't even notice when watching initially.
Are you talking about where they're running over the bridge?
She's like leading them on the bridge, yeah.
Let me find that one. I see a few characters I don't recognize, actually. I see Bo, Glimmer, Adora, and 3 people who I can't place. So, I guess Glimmer doesn't spend all of her time on the spaceship?
Right, I guess that proves that at some point they escape. I am still thinking about Catra's journey in this. I think it's really fascinating that they showed yet another glitchy Catra scene where we're once again experiencing Adora and Catra's time in the Horde and other things. I don't know if that's when Adora somehow gets on the ship at the same time Catra's there, or where this would take place, where there's yet again another simulation. But we know these characters are going to have some kind of heart-to-heart. I just wonder at what point it comes in Catra's journey, because it seems like it's going to be in the initial part of the season that Catra's going to think, yeah, this looks pretty bad. Maybe I'm going to be a good guy. Also, something transforms into a, cat ghost.
Cat ghost? Really?
Do you see the panther or cat spirit thing?
Oh, yes, That's what you're talking about.
I paused that frame and tried to see if somehow even an outline of, Catra was there. But I don't think that happens. But I don't know what that thing is. But if we were waiting for people to have, powers that we didn't know had powers, and this thing is called, She-Ra Princesses of Power, finding out that Catra is the long-lost princess of, her own species, and that
Princess of Yarn.
She has, right, and that, she could have... Of course, the cats have yarn castle, yarn land, yarn something. But maybe she has panther or whatever cat projection powers.
But she doesn't have a runestone, so she would be.
We do know that there's a limited number of runestones. Yeah.
Yeah, she would be a non-elemental princess like Entrapta.
Yeah, so there's that power, and then of course at the end of this trailer, there's Adora summoning her own inner She-Ra power. I don't know if that happens before or after she meets her She-Ra spirit guide, but we're gonna see exactly why She-Ra was able to be such a thorn in Horde Prime's side.
You know what I'm excited for? There's that little bit where Mara's ship is flying off in the distance, and some Horde interceptors are going after it, and I think this is gonna be where we get the thing that they tweeted was going to make the astrophysicists upset.
I have the exact same thing in my notes. I'm very excited to see why one of the writers had to apologize to astrophysicists in advance in this show. I don't know if it's the spaceships, or my guess is that it just has to do more with portals.
I mean, that's already an asteroid field, it looks like, where the rocks are very close together, although it might be a debris field. Those look like stones, though.
Yeah, what do they end up fighting about in space, though?
I mean, space is where Glimmer is, so that's one reason they might go up and say hi.
Yeah, but do they also try to go to the first one's planet? Again, if the first ones have any role in this season, we should find out if they still Well, they do exist at least as long ago as however old Adora is, right? Assuming they're not wiped out at this point, and Adora wasn't one of the last of them, they might be trying to reach out to them.
They'd probably want to use a portal for that, though.
Maybe the portal is on a planet that is reachable by spaceship.
Possible, and you could write up something like, oh, Horde Prime could track a portal, but it'd be harder for him to track a spaceship, and, it'll be so much faster for us to fly the spaceship at whatever faster than light speed than to use the instantaneous portal. I did like the sequence with the hologram of Horde Prime, though. That was cool.
Oh, he is going to be such a fun dictator to watch. The whole... he's so royal and kind, and he's going to be that, like, gentle fascist dictator. And I want to know what his goal is besides merely ruling the universe, right? Like, he has some kind of philosophy where he thinks really highly of himself because, he clones himself everywhere, but what exactly does the rest of his universe look like? I wonder what we're going to see of that in this season as well. Like, he's going for this power on Etheria, but how much of the rest of the universe has he already conquered? Even if they succeed in defending Etheria, will this season also capture and scope, like, stopping the Horde wherever they are in the entire universe?
Yeah, it'll probably be a critical existence failure like the Empire suffered when Emperor Palpatine died, and depending on who you ask, may or may not have been cloned afterwards. I guess everyone agrees he was definitely cloned afterwards, but how many times is the question?
I still like the one YouTube animation that I saw where Palpatine just is just lying prostrate on a planet for decades, just being like, I'm healing myself very slowly.
So I think that's all I wanted to say. Obviously, Seahawk has to get a good action shot.
Everyone is going to be really active in battling, it seems. I think even Natasha and I don't remember Natasha's girlfriend's name. I kept thinking that sounded too much like Flutterina, which is why. Natasha and Spinnerella are going to have more of a moment in this season too, because one of them is looking pretty sad in this trailer.
Yep. And what characters could we kill off without the audience having been attached to them?
No, that would be so cheap if they do that. I really hope they don't kill off either of those two.
Watch out for the first few episodes and see how heavily characterized they are. I am afraid that they're going to try for a last-minute attempt to make you care about them before they kill one of them off, or make you think that one of them is dead.
I think if I had to say the most interesting sacrifice that the show can make, and I think that Catra is the most likely person to have any kind of sacrifice in this season, but one that would really be more out of left field is Double Trouble, who is definitely not a person I saw in this trailer. I think that they might have the ability to do that.
I just don't see it happening.
I don't know. Maybe. I'm not saying they have like a heart of gold. I'm saying it's maybe like a factor that could drive our heroes to doing something different or trying something else. I don't know. But I don't know what role they otherwise have to play, because I think it's whatever way they end up supporting maybe they don't end up supporting the rebellion. They say they always take the winning side, and I bet Horde Prime is going to look like the winning side. What worse trouble, though, could they make if they're able to, shapeshift to be another one of the... Or they could infiltrate the Hordak Inner Sanctum, right? By looking like another Horde clone.
Well, remember, Horde Prime can sense the thoughts of his clones, so...
Oh, but isn't that a challenge? The ultimate challenge for an actor? That's a plot that writes itself right there.
He can't sense the thoughts of non-clones, so he would go in and do his injecty thing on anyone he couldn't sense the thoughts of. He'd be incredibly suspicious.
Do you know that he can't sense the thoughts of other sentient beings? I don't know. No, that's probably true.
If we're all assuming that Catra was trying to betray him right from the beginning...
Right, he would know.
Although he could be playing chess with her as well, you never know. So, all in all, very apocalyptic. The trailer definitely makes it look like Horde Prime doesn't dither around. And it makes it look like he just goes for the gusto and is like, hey, let's drop some troops now. So, I mean, looks like the rebellion's gonna earn this win. It's not gonna be Horde Prime holding the idiot ball.
Nope. But is the Deus Ex Machina just gonna come from Adora realizing a really big power? I think it's not going to be that. I think, much like the season 1 finale, it's going to have to somehow be related to the power of friendship. But beyond that, I don't have any great guesses.
Well, somehow they're going to learn how to channel the heart of Etheria without tearing the planet apart and without destroying a whole lot of things that they'd rather not be destroyed. And yeah, I don't think Horde Prime's going to have a fun time. I just have a feeling that season 5 ends badly for him. Just, having seen a couple cartoon series in my time.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, is he gonna, he can't be murdered. What is the way to take him out in this show? It's not Steven Universe. It's not like his mind is going to be changed. It's not Avatar. He's not like a Bender who can have his powers potentially removed.
Ooh.
He's just a super smart scientist dude.
You know what I would do if I were the writers? I would have Shadow Weaver come up with a way to trap him in a runestone such that he's powering it. Kind of give it a whole, oh, you like power so much? How about you try being power? And then she has power, because I like her.
Yeah, but power being reversed would be a good theme. I also, though, think there's a secret card here, which is that Hordak could be a simple my clones turn against me story at the end, right? Like, if Hordak is able, maybe Horde Prime's mind can't be changed, but maybe all of the clones' minds can be changed. Surely they're not all having a great time either being underneath Horde Prime.
Yeah.
Maybe some of them too have had an independent thought time and again, like Hordak did. That could be a potential undoing.
That does make sense, because Catra betrayed Hordak working to her own ends, and she did that as part of her, I have to prove myself. I'm going to try to prove myself to somebody while simultaneously betraying them. Maybe Hordak just straight up decides, you know what? My brother's kind of a jerk. I should overthrow him now. And helps at a crucial moment.
Between Hordak and Catra, one of them could give a rousing speech to change the minds of all of the other Horde clones.
And like I said, I do think that Hordak ends up in the gang's possession.
I can't wait for him to have his Zuko moment where, he just joins the gang.
Oh, I mean, let me put it this way. They all really could use better hair, and I think Hordak fits up.
Oh, Hordak is the hairstylist we need in our quarantine times, truly.
Anyway, guys, that's been us on the trailer for Season 5 of She-Ra, Princesses of Power.
Yeah, if you want to hear us talk about She-Ra more, we have discussions for the first 4 seasons. Well, the first 3 seasons out on YouTube. The 4th one's coming out this upcoming weekend, and then at some point, we'll have a discussion out for this final season, but it'll be on YouTube, I think. We're hyped for that. It's probably going to be the worst editing I ever have to do because we took forever talking about Season 4, and I can only imagine Season 5 is going to be an absolute mega bomb, so.
Anyway, guys, join us next week for another podcast episode about probably Summer Camp Island. I love that show.
Oh, Craig of the Creek's getting hot.
Oh, yes, Craig of the Creek. We'll be talking about something, though. Anyway, until then, I'm GC13.
And I'm David. Don't forget to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts.
Later, everybody. Our opening and closing music is by Mark Soto. For more cartoon-related content, please visit lunarseaspire.com.